And welcome to the Midday Show. I am Jeff Everett. He is Mark Messina, and I'm back. Is it the prodigal son? Is that how you say it?
No.
Has returned? No. Is that no? That's not the case here.
No. You need a biblical lesson. You are not the prodigal.
Listen, I certainly need a biblical lesson. How about you? Tell us.
The prodigal son was LeBron James.
No.
When he left Cleveland and then went back to Cleveland, won a championship.
If you're trying to get me to leave and go back to Florida, you're doing a good job.
No, I'm serious. That was like, as in modern times, LeBron James leaving from Cleveland to Miami and going back to Cleveland was as close to the prodigal son as we have.
How is that not exactly what I just did? I left, went to Florida, came back.
No, you went on vacation.
He went on vacation.
No, but he went to a better life.
You don't think I was living my best life in Florida? I'm so confused as to how this analogy doesn't work.
It's not. He moved. The prodigal son didn't take a long weekend and then come back home and say, "Dad, did you miss me?" He left.
Well, listen,
and he was never coming back.
I would never call you Dad or expect you to miss me. So so either way, that will work. Tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I do want to know.
We're going to talk about the insanity of some people.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the insanity of a world holiday today.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about how many actual insane people go to Penn State tomorrow.
Okay.
Those are the things I kicked around. Why? Do you have more?
No, it was good. Well, we're also going to talk about the story that just broke about human remains yesterday being found.
Up like Hummerkirk Road.
It's been a rough month.
Rough stretch up. You get a little north of the city up 11, 15.
It's been a rough go.
Bad.
It's been a rough go. Before we get to all of that, how are you? We're back in person. How are you feeling?
I had a good answer for this the other day, and I can't think of what it was.
That's good because it's today. So how are you feeling today?
It's like one of those things happened. I was like, "Oh, I should talk about this because this is how I feel today." Okay. I'm good, actually. It's Friday. I mean, how bad can Friday be? It's starting to get cold. I get to go sit at a football game and freeze.
Good luck tonight.
Freeze. Just freeze. I used to work with a chick. I was just thinking this. This is the only... Freeze your tuchus off is what she always used to say.
Tuchus, yeah.
Is that Yiddish or is that just?
I don't know if it's Yiddish. I know of tuchus. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because she fired out every now and then. I was like, what does that mean? She's like, oh, it's Yiddish. It means, whatever. So I don't know if tuchus was, because she's the person that whenever I hear the word, I think of her. Okay. So anyway, but yeah, it's supposed to be cold. It's going to be cold at Penn State. So we'll just throw this out right away. We'll just
go for it.
How many people are going to the Penn State game tomorrow? They get Rutgers at home.
We disagree on this. I think it's going to be more than you think it is.
I think it's going to be a ghost town.
See, I think it's because it's the last home game of the year and people are going to have to wait 8 months to do it again. I think it will be bigger than you think.
Now, I agree if it was the next weekend, because Penn State has 2 more games. The last one is at Michigan State.
Okay.
If this was 2 days after Thanksgiving, then it would be a ghost town. Because it's a week colder. It's a week further away from relevance. People are Black Friday shot. They're doing all these things like, do they really want to tear away from all the stuff that they have to go freeze at Penn State to watch Penn State play Rutgers? No.
So you think it might be a die-hard only type of environment?
I think it's close. I mean, what are they? Something in 4. They're 6-4. They played really well again last week against Michigan, kind of let it get away. But Rutgers is bad, just like they used to be. Mm-hmm. Penn State went from being this team that thought they had a shot at being in the Final Four, and now all of a sudden they're staring 7-5 square in the face and playing in the Holiday Bowl.
Sure.
So I don't know.
I just think, maybe I'm thinking about it more from the perspective of the school. It's right before Thanksgiving week. It's the last game of the season.
Are students still there?
See, that's what I'm thinking. If I'm a student, I'm going hog wild for the last football weekend Saturday, and then I'm getting in a car and going home.
Do they have class Monday and Tuesday?
It doesn't matter. Are you being for real?
You don't think anyone goes to class on Monday, Tuesday?
Oh, my goodness. The lowest attendance of the semester has to be the days before, if they have classes before Thanksgiving.
And that's why I ask, because
To the point where when I was in school, midway through because I was like a 7-year senior, midway through, they actually switched it and they made that fall break because nobody stuck around for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before.
Well, my daughter's at Pitt and she's home today.
Yeah.
They have no classes at all.
So you think people may have packed up their stuff Friday and they're just going to say, see you later.
Oh, yeah.
Today they're heading.
Yeah. If they don't have any classes next week, and somebody listening has to have a kid at Penn State or something.
What's the rush to go home, though?
Because you've been there a lot. Like, people are excited to get home.
But you're gonna get home Sunday, and you're gonna be there until Sunday. You can go to the Penn State game Saturday and still have Sunday to Sunday at home.
But is going to Rutgers fun?
It isn't, but it's the last one. That's the only. I mean, that's all I'm standing on.
Maybe.
I just think,
and you may be right,
it's the last one. I could just see people kind of being like, "Hey, I had to wait 2 years to do this the right way again. I'm not like I'm gonna go now while I can because who knows where we're gonna be 8 months from now."
The other thing that plays into their advantage, it's not gonna be a terrible day. It's supposed to be dry. It's gonna high of like 45, so it's not balmy, but 45 could be a lot worse for late November. Plus, it's a noon kick.
Okay.
So you get up, you get there, the game starts, you're home by 5.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't kill the whole day. If it was a 3:30 kick or a 4 o'clock kick or something like that, then it may be a little different. It does give people a chance to be like, hey, let's just go by the time we get there. But there ain't going to be 100,000 people there.
I agree with you. They're not going to hit triple digits. I think personally, like they're going to get 75 plus.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
I don't, but so it'll be interesting.
Okay, well, good one. This was on NorthcentralPa.com. You should go there for all of your local news. Human remains found off of Lycoming Creek Road. Do you say Crick or Creek? That's another debate we should have.
It's Crick.
You go Crick, not Lycoming Creek. No, you're on the Crick Road.
What's weird is, and that is, you can say Lycoming Creek Road. I have said Lycoming Creek Road. Okay. But when you shorten it, it's the Crick Road.
Okay.
And you swim in the creek.
Yeah.
And you fish in the creek, even though I don't fish. But you don't swim in the creek.
Okay.
But when you take places on a map, like Kellogg's, do you know where Kellogg's is?
Yes.
It's in Battle Creek, Michigan. Uh-huh. It's not Battle Creek, Michigan. It's Battle Creek. And the Civil War was at Brandywine Creek. So I get there are differences, but you have never driven up the Creek Road. No one has ever driven up. It's the Creek Road.
Crick Road, the Creek Road. It's a good question. I guess I have to notice the next time I say it. If you ever go out to Pier 87 and different places, have you seen Crick Life? Have you seen the branding? And
oh, no.
It's really, whoever came up with it, it's very clever. Just like Crick Life. It's kind of like Jeep Life, like Good Life. Right. Like that kind of stuff.
It is, when you look in Webster's, it is an acceptable pronunciation. It says it is, in rural, whatever, but it is not, just like, you can spell gray, Gray, and Grey, and both are acceptable. Crick, according to Webster, is an acceptable pronunciation.
Interesting. So human remains were found yesterday morning in a wooded area off Lycoming Creek Road in Loyalstock Township, Lycoming County. The remains were discovered at 9:24 a.m. November 18th at a wooded area near the 2600 block of Lycoming Creek Road and Hayes Lane, according to a press release by Pennsylvania State Police in Torresville. The investigation continues as police work to identify the victim. Trooper Barrett, I almost said Barnett. Barrett is the investigating officer, according to the release. Cause of death not been determined yet.
Well, they did identify him eventually.
Didn't they? That's maybe I have.
Yeah, I saw it and I didn't read it.
This article is 19 hours old.
Yeah, they identified. It was a guy that was missing, and I can't think of who it was.
I can dig it up. So it's been a rough stretch here, especially after the news last week.
Yeah, and then there was the fatal accident on the Golden Strip yesterday. The guy not wearing a seatbelt.
I actually just saw that this morning.
Rear-ended. There was an SUV was sitting, trying to turn.
Okay.
And the guy smacked. Apparently he was in a Jetta, which is not a very big car.
Okay.
I guess he wasn't wearing a seatbelt either, but he hit the SUV so hard that it spun it.
Okay.
Which you have to be going pretty fast.
Oh, sure.
So whatever it was.
So back to the human remains found. The update, They are a male believed to be in their late 20s to early 30s, according to a release from Lycoming County Coroner's Office. Is this the one you're referring to? Or did they actually release a name?
I thought they released a name.
Okay. So they're being transferred to a forensic anthropologist in Erie for examination to assist with positive identification and also determine the cause of death.
We've been sending a lot of things to forensic anthropologists in Erie.
Yeah, that was
keeping them busy.
That was the other one I said to Carrie too. It amazed, like I was shocked that it has to go all the way to Erie.
There's probably only one in the state.
I know, but
and that's where the person is.
No, if there's only one of something in the state, it should never be in Erie.
Well, if that's where the best one is, you can't make the guy move.
I mean, if you're a state employee, they make you work in Harrisburg.
Well, then he says, I'm not going to do it.
Did you understand what I'm saying, though?
I mean, the heart, or is it the brain surgeon, Dr. Raju or whatever, is like he's high up on like the presidential list or something like that. It's insane that he's here in Williamsport. And you would think if the guy's that good that he is like on call for the president,
right?
Why would you let him be in Williamsport? Because he's like, I'm not moving.
No, it's a good point. I'm just surprised anything that's. I mean, there's a reason they moved the capital from Philly to Harrisburg.
My guess would be just to put it in the middle of the state.
Correct. So it just surprises me that everything has to go to Erie. It's not an easy drive. It's not an easy trip.
Well, they don't.
There's no straight line to Erie, especially from here.
Don't you think they fly it?
You think they fly it? Really? You don't think they have, that's the transportation you think they take? So somebody got on a plane. Well, here's the other problem too. Where are they flying out of?
Can't you FedEx it?
Right. Well, yes, but where is the plane go? Where's it going from? From Williamsport?
From one airport to another.
I know, but which airport?
Do you get what I
mean?
saying?
Yeah.
Well, they could probably fly. Don't they fly privately out of Williamsport still? I would bet you could fly privately.
So you think somebody
that is a good
privately
question.
Is flying?
Do they have to drive it to Erie?
They must.
I can't believe they do.
I don't know how else they would, unless they're still. I mean, they
well
must.
From here, but like everywhere else from Philadelphia, I can't believe they're driving the stuff to Philly or to Erie.
Well, Philadelphia is different though because they have options. Like they have airplanes and like it's not. I mean, somewhere like here, I mean, it would be tough. Well, it's like the crazy part, like the Erie to Philly trip, I think is like 10 plus hours.
By car?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long way.
Because there's no straight.
No, it can't be. How far is Erie from here?
Dude, I'm telling you because.
How far is Erie from here?
Erie from here, 3.5.
Okay, well,
4.
Philly's 2.5. So you had 2.5.
Philly's more than 2.5. But
okay,
it's
3.
Your point. So you're thinking like no traffic, no anything. Like I'm telling you, like to drive from Philly and to get out of Philly and then go up to Erie, you either have to go all the way along the bottom of the state and up, or you go up across 80 and then up. Like I'm telling you, it's like a 10-hour trip.
It can't be.
I'm telling you it is.
Hold on. This is math. This is A plus B and B plus C equals A plus C.
Ahead.
If you go from Philadelphia to Williamsport in 3 hours.
Okay.
And then you go Williamsport to Erie in 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Then you can go from Philly to Williamsport to Erie in 6.5 hours.
But what I'm telling you is like if you are in Philadelphia, you're not getting out of Philadelphia. Like we're so used to like we're just gonna jump on 80 and like I get that. I'm telling you, like in a day trip, I'm telling you, it's like 10 hours.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
If you stop 3 times for meals.
Sure.
If you stop for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I understand that. You're going to have to stop for gas. You're going to eat all those things. But I'm telling you, it is like a full 10-hour trip from Philly to Erie. Why is that so hard to believe?
I could make it with a truck full of Coors beer in less than that.
You're so full of it.
I can't. We'll do it. We'll do it, and I'll prove you wrong. I'm going.
You're going to be miserable.
Westbound and down, baby.
You really think so?
Easy.
Plus,
yes, I will be miserable in Erie because it'll be freezing.
Plus, if you go along the bottom of the state too, like you're hitting.
I wouldn't. I would just go right through Williamsport.
You wouldn't. No, you wouldn't go.
Why?
Through Williamsport. Why would you go through Williamsport?
Because I know it's only 6.5 hours then. 3.5 plus 3.
That's not how it works.
That's how math works. 3.5 plus 3 is 6.5.
You do realize, though, when you get to Philadelphia, that's like getting on to 76. Then it's an extra half an hour to get to wherever you're actually going.
It depends where you go. But in this scenario, I'm just okay. So now we're at 7 hours. We have an extra half hour.
Yeah, okay, but you're not just riding straight through. Like I don't understand what you think is happening.
First of all, I am not a ride straight through guy. There's lots of guys out there listening who say, "Oh yes, you do. You ride straight through." There are guys that stop for gas and that is it.
That's all they do.
Yes.
They're just not going to eat.
They're not.
Day.
They are. It is a land speed race.
By the time you get out of Philly, you actually get onto, like, let's say you take the turnpike. You actually get onto the turnpike. You go up, you get across 80. You're going to stop and get gas. You're going to stop and eat.
At the same time.
You're going to go.
No, at the same time. One stop.
Did I not say at the same time?
Well,
I said you're going to stop to get gas
one
and you're going to stop to eat. That's cool. You're going to continue on 80. You're going to get above Pittsburgh. You're going to go up. I think it might be 79 up to Erie. I don't think I have that right. You're going to go up to Erie. And then, like, Erie's not Philadelphia, obviously. But Erie, like, depending on where this guy lives, like, depending on what you're doing, I'm telling you, like, that's almost 10 hours. It's a 10-hour day. You don't think it's a 10-hour day? We have fine. D says it's 6.5 from Philly to Erie.
Thank you.
I disagree. It's like 7 hours from Philly to Erie. I did the drive for med school interviews.
You know what? I'm sorry. All you people are wrong. It's 10.
It is. I mean, unless you're like, what
10.
were
You're right. It's 10 if you get a 3-hour nap somewhere in the middle.
What were the races that people used to do?
The cannonball run?
Yes. I mean, if you're like cannonball running it, sure, 7 hours. Congratulations.
It's an easy drive. It's like, dude, you get to Boston in 6.
If the two people that said 6.5 hours, 7 hours, tell us how you went. Did you go across the bottom of the state?
They went 3 hours plus 3.5 hours.
I understand that. Do you think they went up the turnpike and across 80, or do you think they went across the bottom of the state?
That would be my
guess. And then they went up
the turnpike, across 80, and then up.
You
only have to stop for gas once.
That's true. Well,
depends what you're driving. For gas once.
Depends what you're driving, but yes, typically you should only have to stop for gas.
The whole question is the bladder control of the passengers. How many times you have to stop to go to the bathroom is the whole question. You can make that trip in one stop.
I'll just say we're also making some bold assumptions. Like, we're saying no construction, no stoppage. Like, we're just assuming that the world worked in our favor, and we just got out of Philadelphia, and we just got on the turnpike, and we just got on the 8. Like,
and then,
we're just assuming
that our car doesn't break down, and we don't hit a deer. Yes, all those things. Those are my assumptions.
Are you telling me every time you go on 80, is there less construction or more construction? How many times have you gone on 80 and you had no construction?
No, I get what you're saying, but I've never
We also live in Pennsylvania, so we're also assuming it's going to be a beautiful day. Right? Like, the weather's never been bad in Pennsylvania.
This is what I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. If it's 3 hours to Philly and it's 3.5 to Erie, I'm assuming 3 plus 3.5 is 6.5.
By the way, do you know how much, like, there's snow in Erie right now? Like, there's ice on the road.
There's a dust.
I'm making it up, but
there's a dust.
When I used to go, so I went to Penn State Barron. I don't know if I've ever said this on the show. I went to Penn State Barron for 2 years. Okay. The campus was great. I hated Erie. Like, I just hated the weather. It wasn't even Erie, just in general. I can remember driving back, and I can remember, like, at one point, like, calling my dad, and I remember saying to him, like, I literally can't see anything. Like, it was just white. Just complete whiteout. It was like 8 o'clock at night.
Let me tell you something. As a parent, don't make that call.
No, I did.
What's he supposed to do?
I just remember calling him, and I said to him, I pulled over. I said, I literally can't see anything. I actually, for the people who've made the trip before, I actually used to go up from Blossburg. So I would go up 15 and then come across the bottom. I think it might be 86. But you basically go across, like, through Hornell. There's a Cuba, New York, and you go all the way out to Jamestown, New York, before you drop back into Pennsylvania, into Erie. Okay. And I mean, it's like a desolate wasteland in the wintertime because there's just nothing out there, and it is just it's just a foot of snow every time you go out there. So it is like the idea that you're just going to like cruise into Erie, you've got a 50-50 shot. You're trying to go through like 6 to 8 inches of snow every time.
What my greatest college snow story is, I was coming home. Now I was only Susquehanna, so I'm in Selinsgrove. I'm 45 minutes from home, but my wiper blades had frozen, and either A, I didn't know, or B, I was too stupid to realize that it's not like a icebreaker thing. So I turned them off and I stripped the little bolt. So the passenger side wiper would go.
Okay.
The driver's side wiper wouldn't go.
Okay.
And it's snowing enough that it's a mess.
Sure.
But it's not snowing. I'm getting the hell home because it was break or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I did was I had laundry in the back seat, and I had a pair of gym shorts, and I had my window down with the heat blasted on the thing, and I'm driving down the road, reaching outside and cleaning off my window when it got dark, when it got messy enough that I couldn't see.
How fast were you going?
And that's how I drove home.
How fast were you going?
I was not going to be intimidated.
Were you going like the speed limit? Like, were you like keeping up with traffic?
Of course I was keeping up with traffic. I'm on 147 flying through Northumberland, reaching around.
Can we talk about like stupid things we did with college?
I wasn't stupid. I was efficient and I was home.
Yeah, in 7 hours.
I got another one for you then too. Go ahead.
So the first time I ever drove to college out in Erie, and I think I had just turned 18, and I drive all the way out to Erie, and I had a Jeep, in which anybody who doesn't drive a Jeep, the windshields on Jeeps are almost like straight up. So what happens is like you crush the bugs. There's no avoiding it. It is what it is. If you're on a highway, there's just going to be bugs everywhere on your windshield. So I get to campus and my windshield is just plastered with bugs. Oh, you'll love this. And so it's before Labor Day weekend. It's like the last week in August. I go up, I park the car, and I'm like stoked to be there. So I just park it up in the student lot and I just go about my week, like as if nothing had changed, nothing had happened. I go to leave for Labor Day weekend to come home. I get up to my car and it is just a thick wall of bugs that I had left from the first trip.
They'd all dried.
And it's like smeared and it's like dried on the thing. Even worse, I go to do the thing and I'm out of washer fluid. So all I have is, I'm looking in my car, all I have is like half a bottle of water like underneath my seat, like for emergencies, like in case something happens.
This sounds like an emergency.
So I'm out with a tube sock and a bottle of water trying to get these bugs off of it. One of the dumbest things I've ever done.
You know what's really good, and you probably know this because you're a farm handy guy from the north.
Sounds like
when you have to clean off your windshield in the winter when it's all snowy and messy and whatever.
Okay.
Newspaper, actual newsprint, an old-fashioned newspaper. You throw snow on the windshield, and there's something about the ink or the way it is. But a buddy of mine showed me that in college. Just white, fluffy snow, just one handful. Get a newspaper, whether a Web Weekly, whatever you got in the car, and wipe it.
So like defrost the window, you mean?
Yep.
Interesting. Have you seen the one going around with the hot water in the Ziploc bags?
No.
So apparently you pour hot water, Ziploc, lock it up, and then just rub it over, and it like in no time, it's gone in one swipe. Yep.
So anyway, here's my other story about it was, I think we just got back because our baseball team at Susquehanna had gone on, and we were playing in the playoffs, and school was out.
Okay.
So it was like when we got back to campus, it was people waiting to seniors waiting to graduate and nobody else. Okay. So we get back, and I remember my dad saying, again, I'm 45 minutes away, and we got back late, and we were going, there's senior parties and all this stuff. And then I said, I think I'm going to come home tonight. And he was like, well, that's stupid. Just come home tomorrow. There's nothing to rush home to. But the semester was over, and I was done, and I wanted. Okay. So I remember getting back to my dorm at 1:30, 1 o'clock. And they'd come and gotten all my big stuff and taken it out. So I basically just had the clothes that I was taking, my baseball stuff. Okay. So it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm awake, and I'm a night person anyway. And I was like, I'm driving home. I'll be home I'll wake up in my bed. There's no reason for me to wake up here tomorrow. Sure. So I'm driving home. It's like 2:30. By the time I got packed up and I'm home, I'm right by the Lycoming Mall. and there are 2 deer on the road, and I'm flying because it's 2:30 in the morning.
Sure.
So I'm going 65, 70, and there are a deer in each lane. So I jump on the brakes and I go over into the passing lane. The deer from the passing lane, fortunately, very calmly, walks over to the other lane.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2:30 in the morning. I am now stopped on 180, and there are 2 deer standing right next to me, just looking at me like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
And if that deer hadn't moved, or if that, I would have been calling my dad at 2:30 in the morning. Well, this is before cell phones. I don't know what I had done.
Sure.
And he would have let me sit there anyway, because he said, don't come home tonight, come home in the morning.
Yeah.
So that would have been very, very bad.
No, it would have been rough for you. These guys say real quick, across 76 and then hit 79 above Pittsburgh. So D goes bottom
Okay.
of the state, and then up through. I wonder if do you still hit above Pittsburgh if you go across the bottom?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because to me, I guess you would just kind of arc around Pittsburgh and go up even if you were below. But maybe it comes out above Pittsburgh. 76 does.
I know I have no reason to ever go to Erie, and I'm not taking 420 miles.
Now, the other one goes up 476, the turnpike, and then
80.
gets on
Yeah,
80 and
that's
then
right.
goes across. Steve Barnes says it's going to take longer if you stop by and see the Hickory Hornets. Is that Hickory High School? Are they the Hornets outside
Yeah, I
of
don't
Pittsburgh?
like Steve Barnes.
You don't like Steve Barnes?
We played Hickory in our state championship game in high school. We lost.
They just last year, they made the state championship
In
game
basketball?
for basketball. I believe they lost, but they made it there. They were kind of like underdogs.
All I know is we were winning at the end of the first quarter, we were winning at the end of the second quarter, and we were winning at the end of the third quarter.
That's why you play the game.
So if it was like, if it was hockey, we were champions. If it was the Electoral College, we would have won.
There we go. Because everyone agrees those two systems are perfect, right? What else do you got for us over there? It is national. What's this holiday?
It is International Men's Day to celebrate the cultural, political, and socioeconomic impact of men.
Okay, say that just one more time, a little quicker.
Cultural, political, and socioeconomic impact of men.
Is there anything that it's not so much that it can't be celebrated? Is there anything that doesn't need to be celebrated more than International Men's Day?
No. This is, look at us. We're men. Of course, when I realized this, I went out and told our news director, and she was like, oh, great.
She didn't want to make an asset.
She was like, that's
we're not running that story.
No. I think women think that like every day is pretty much Men's Day. There's Mother's Day and then 364 days of Men's Day, and they think Mother's Day sucks anyway.
I want to jump back to this. I do want to say you talk about like things you don't. We were at Disney and they have a left-handed shop, and you want to talk about people that feel like disenfranchised. Left-handed people, like when they see things made for left-handed people, it is like they found the Holy Grail.
What is made? What?
You've never heard of this?
Scissors?
Like scissors. So they have notebooks where the rings are on the other side.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you're not left-handed, are you?
No, my son is.
Okay.
And we always make fun of them because
Okay.
they're weird. Lefties are just weird.
Yeah. Well, they had a bunch of things there, like if you're left, I might be left-handed, but I'm always right. Like things like that. But yeah, they had like the notebook, scissors, different utensils, like kitchen stuff, things like that.
I never thought about the notebook aspect. I had a buddy, the smartest kid in our grade was left-handed.
Okay.
And he wrote.
Yeah, because
it was so, I mean, it almost looked painful the way, and his penmanship was great.
Yeah.
But it was all curled all the way around. And I was like, Bill, why do you write that way? He goes, because if I write normal, you smear it.
Yeah.
Like you have
But there's think about even a car. Like even in a car, like now, like they have the touch screens in the center of the car and everything like that. Like if you're left-handed, like you have to do it with your right hand because like you're not going to reach your left hand over.
Yeah, but if you're I'm right-handed,
like
you steer left-handed because you shift right-handed.
But it's much easier to steer with your odd hand than it is to actually like function controls in the center.
I agree with what you're saying. I also have found my experience with left-handers through life is like right-handers are right-handed. Left-handers, a lot of times they do some things. They're like, I throw
because
left,
they have because they have no choice.
Life was maybe
because life basically said you need to do it this way.
No, because I know like my neighbor was a really good pitcher. Like threw hard, was a quarterback, but he shot pool right-handed. And shooting pool is one thing that you would never have to do. There's no reason. So, but
first of all, because this is interesting too. I think I might have told you this. Do you know why there's way more right-handed people than left-handed people?
You told me this.
So
don't remember.
Back in the day, the caretaker.
Oh, the mother, yes.
Yes. They would keep the child on the side with their heart because the pulse and everything else. So what happened over time is they just did everything with their right hand while they were holding the child in their left. And so genetically, like over time, just less and less left-handed people were born because just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like Darwinism. Like do
you know why the buttons on men's shirts are opposite of the buttons on women's shirts?
I didn't even know they were.
I think they still are. At least they were for a long time.
Wait a second. The buttons on a shirt are different depending on if it's for a male or a female?
Yes. At least it was. Because like as a man, because we button it.
I've never even heard of that.
Because you've probably never worn a woman's shirt.
Yeah, but you'd still think that I would have noticed or like heard of it.
And we would have to check. We would have to have somebody do this. But women would know. I think they're opposite because back in the day, women, the women that could afford button-up shirts had servants, and they were dressed by the servant. So the buttons were actually done by the servant. So it was done by someone facing you. As opposed to as men did their own, women had someone. So like, I think women's shirts are basically made like if you were left-handed. I think their buttons go opposite.
No, so the left-handed challenge is real. Actually, even when we were in Disney, I don't know if I think I mentioned this on the show. My mom's sick. She's kicking butt, but she hasn't been feeling well. So we had a scooter for her in Disney just because we thought standing all day and we didn't know how we'd get through the day. So on this scooter, there's like a dial in the middle to like speed it up and slow it down. And then there's no brake. So it's the right side is the go. And then the left side is reverse. Okay. But for my mom, that stinks because she would almost want it to be the opposite way because she's left-handed. So even these scooters are really made to like incline people that are right-handed.
Okay. Good. I heard all that.
You heard nothing. What else do you got for anything? I mean, anything else you want to say about International Men's Day? The lefties kind of took it over, but
no. That's all I have to say about International Men's Day.
Okay, it's interesting. I hope everyone goes out and celebrates. How do you celebrate International Men's Day?
It is so.
What do you do? What does one do? How does one support International Men's Day?
It is. It's ridiculous that there's a day supporting international men. Like that is just.
I disagree. I feel included.
You think it's necessary?
I feel included.
Today is your day, Jeff.
Today is I feel included. Thank you.
Yeah.
What else you got over there on your scribble pad?
I got other stuff, but we got to go because I got to call a client. That's why I was just making sure that text wasn't from a client. I told him I was going to call one.
No, I understand. Well, it was good being back. Thanks for letting me back in. Thanks for letting me dim the lights again.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. These lights you probably burned them out. They probably won't even work anymore.
They've been on a lot. It's been a bright week around here.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Brighter than usual.
Thank you guys for listening to the Midday Show. We will be back on Monday. And real quick, I'm going to check the comments real quick just to make sure we did it. So here, yeah. So this says, yes, buttons are opposite on men's shirts compared to women's.
Yes. That's right. So if you grabbed a woman's shirt, you would have to button it oppositely.
Do women complain about this?
It's all they've ever known. Like you wouldn't know, like they wouldn't know because they just put on, it's just the way they think shirts go. I would say that it's the way they think shirts go. It's like as a guy, this is the way shirts are because they button this way. Women's are opposite.
Interesting. My mind is blown.
See?
Thank you guys.
Stick with me. You'll learn some stuff.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to the Midday Show. Thank you to our sponsors, and be sure to go to NorthcentralPa.com for all your local news. Anything else?
That's it.
That's all you got?
We're good.
I'm Jeff Everett. He is Mark Messina. We will see you guys on Monday.